Andrew, good to see you as always, and thank you for taking a bit of time out to come and have a chat. To kick the conversation off, tell us about the mission. Tell us about what you're trying to do with your business.
That's a really good question. It's always interesting when you talk to friends about our company or our ambition. The first thing they usually say to us is, when are you going to sell it? How much do you want for it? And which is completely the wrong question. Yes, we have a figure in mind, but Ketin is our business partner, and our goal at the moment is to get the service into such a good state, one, financially and volume from customers. And the other bit might sound a bit hammy, but to enjoy ourselves, which we are while we're doing it.
Right.
So, another bit of a cringy bit, I think we're trying to make a bit of a difference. But so that's our mission, to enjoy ourselves and grow something that's good.
Cool. Sounds like
It's
a
as
pretty good
simple as
mission to
that.
me. And when tell us about the moment when you thought this proposition, you probably ought to explain a little bit about what the proposition is. Tell us about the moment when you thought this proposition could really have an impact globally.
Well, all right. What we do is look for compromised credentials on the dark web. It's been around for ages. It's been around. Troy Hunt's been doing Have I Been Pwned for years. And we created, there was four of us originally, we created a platform. We thought there's no B2B proper platform with context. And Kes and I decided a few years ago, oh, every business conversation we're having about cybersecurity, it's all about technology, it's all about the software,
Yeah.
it's all about IT points. None of it's about privacy. None of it's about the threat of data. And people are just missing the point about cybersecurity. So we took was it a punt? Yes, it was a punt. But we thought if we can uh, produce a service that grabs that market focused on obviously compromised credentials, but with contextual data at a price point that will make it a no-brainer, let's go for it. Because another thing where we had a like a hallelujah moment, let's price it so it's an inherent cybersecurity cost, not an expensive cybersecurity cost. So when we do talk to clients, it becomes a no-brainer, and hence why we've grown the volume. So yeah, it's I don't think there's any hallelujah moment. I just thought there was a practical discussion on will this work, and we both agreed it would.
Yeah, and you can see that it's relevant for pretty much every business, I would have thought. So I can see why there's a kind of a global
Yeah, but
anyway.
there's a massive education piece, and
Yeah,
this is
no, I
another
get that.
thing.
I get that.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
that's the opportunity. That's the opportunity. That's another alley moment.
and I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a lot of work to do to take it globally. I mean, what is it that inspired you to do all that extra work? To go for such a big goal. I mean, what was behind that?
Wouldn't you like to run your own business? Would you like to grab something, build it, know that you're going to make a profit, know that you're going to make a difference?
Hmm.
Um, what's really interesting, I've worked for big companies beforehand, and when you're running your own company with a great team, I can knock on any door and get a conversation. When I used to work for a big company, big corporate, and I'd want to knock on the door or talk to a politician, I'd have to go through so many policies,
Yeah.
so many procedures. The thrill is that we can do anything and the buck stops with us. The risk is we can do anything and the buck stops with us. And it's and the another thing is there's a few things that Kes and I have got key numbers in our heads from where we started to where we are now. It's just a great joy to see that, wow, look at what we're building, look at what we built, and look at where we're going. And when we look at all the client base we've got, which I won't discuss on this, we've got, you're thinking, bloody hell, why are this lot talking to us? They're massive,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, well, that's pretty good. So
Yeah, and
I don't know if
I
I,
get why that's motivating. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I mean, I think that if you talk to entrepreneurs, that that thing about building something valuable motivates a lot of people. So I totally get
Yeah.
it. You mentioned one of the problems, which is that you've got to educate people about both the problem and your solution. I mean, when you think about that process of going from the kind of where you started to becoming a global player, I mean, what was the kind of crux problem that you had to overcome? Is it the education piece? Is that the one thing that you got to nail to make progress, or is it something else?
Yeah, it's definitely education. It's there's two, three factors. One is identifying the right person in an organization who gets it.
Mm,
The if you look at the way companies organize FDs, CEOs, CISOs, and so on, and IT directors, there's a massive difference in priorities. One's about shareholder value, CFO, revenue. He's a good person to talk to because he wants to protect the brand. The CEO gets it. The IT director just wants to manage, sometimes manage upwards. Finding the right IT director with the right knowledge of cybersecurity strategies is, hard. And then the CISO, pretty tough job.
mm,
But it's a difference in CISO's knowledge. One is a compliance tick box CISO, and then you've got the CISOs that get it. So it's all about education. And that education not only extends to the board, but it extends to the individuals and it extends to your friends and family. There's a Everyone sees cybersecurity, as I say, as a technical issue. You've got a tick box kind of philosophy of governance, ISO standards, compliance frameworks, and then you've got the marketing people who well, we've gone through zero trust, haven't we? Or zero trust, and now we're going through AI. So it's the whole education piece. But do you know what? The tide is turning. We've got a housing association that uses our service. I love this story, and they're a direct client, and they look after vulnerable people, or they house vulnerable people. They're part charity, part commercial. Won't name them, and they took a brave decision to monitor the supply chain. Some of them are physical security companies, some are IT companies, and they got it. They were realizing our clients' privacy is paramount. We do not want them to be exploited. This is a housing association,
mm.
and now every time one of their organizations in the supply chain comes up in a breach, maybe a physical security company, they contact them and highlight them. It's all about awareness, being smart. And what does that do? This isn't a great story because this is not like a fear story. Now that security company now is more aware of the services it provides that housing association, so they're upping their ante. So there's
Mm.
even more awareness, and that's growing. And I've seen a few of our customers now, direct customers, putting their supply chain on, and it's
And
improving.
it strikes me it's not just about awareness, that builds trust, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, we've got a long way to go. We're on catch-up mode, aren't we?
Yeah. So to come back to the education piece, then, so I mean, when people often say that to me, we've got to educate the customer. I mean, how do you do that? Is it simply by having a conversation? Do you have a sort of a program that they go? I mean, how does that
Uh,
work in
uh,
your context?
One thing we pretty have been haven't focused on, as I say, poor on, is marketing. But we're pretty good on social media, so that's where we've done it. So, for instance, we're running a campaign about data types, what data types mean, educationally wise.
Yeah.
So, we just Gabriel did one on CVVs. The last three digits on your credit card or debit card. Most people would say, "Oh, my last three digits, they've been stolen." It doesn't matter because they haven't got the other numbers to back it up. Well, it does matter because a hacker will use that to phone you up or phishing attack and say, "Hi, Paul, seen some spurious activity on your card finishing 627. Just want to check that your bank's okay, and can you confirm your account number?" So,
Yeah.
so we're educating everyone that that data type is out there within with sitting on the dark web, blah blah blah, or like an avatar. Why is an avatar important? Well, an avatar data type, people say it's only a picture of a bicycle that sits behind Paul, and that's his avatar. Well, that's Paul's digital behavior. That's his figure. That's what we trust by. So I could I could be Paul Essery, spelt with Essary, not realize it, and then
Yeah.
Paul's asking me something relevant, and then kapow. So yeah, so we're going down the education route
Yeah, I
about
get
data
that.
types and the impact.
Yeah. And I mean, that also means, doesn't it, that, some clients really get it quickly. Some clients obviously don't because they, I mean, which I always think is a bit, when it's such a great product, it's a really emotional roller coaster, isn't it? Having some people say, "Yeah, I get this," and then a bunch of people saying that they don't. I mean, how do you cope with that mentally, emotionally? That it
Oh
kind of
God, yeah, I'm old. I'm old, Paul. I mean,
you and me both.
I used to look after one of the worst customers in the world. I mean, I've been beaten up by engineers and everything. So I've had people that hate me. I used to look after all the banks and they'd phone up and yeah, what names? So it doesn't bother me. You just park it. You park the feedback. There's a decision making process
Mm,
that they have to go through. When they do get it, they fly. Um, and and they start selling their own value add on top because they just size it's just a low value product, high in insight. But when they don't get it, sometimes it's like that. What was that film with the Blues Brothers? No, Animal House. And
all
one
right.
of the guys had a devil on his shoulder, and the other one had an angel on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this schizoid sort of thing where I'm talking to someone so he doesn't get it. That's just don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Educate them, be polite, don't be rude, and just park it. Funny enough, we just had a client from 2 years, not a client, we just had a contact from 2 years ago, just come back saying, I get it now.
Yeah.
So
Those
just
sorts of
just
things are
just
great.
signed up as a partner.
Yeah,
So,
those are great when that happens.
but the thing is, you've still got, about an education not only on what we do, but on cybersecurity and what it means and what risk means. Because what we do is risk management, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone is dealing into risk management. So we still have that.
Yeah. And as the CEO, so I mean, obviously, I mean, when people use the phrase CEO, they often think it means Executive Officer. I always think of it as Chief Everything Officer in small
Yeah,
business.
general dog's body. Yeah.
It's right because you've got to, there's a lot of stuff that you've got to keep track of. I mean, is there anything that if you look back on your experiences of building the business and being the CEO, I mean, is there anything that's really pushed you out of your comfort zone?
I can busk, so I've always busked all my life, put on the spot. Uh, for if anyone knows me and is listening to me, um, I always struggle with concentration because there's so many things to do
Yeah.
that you really do have to focus. So I'm quite dyslexic, so that doesn't help. So I'll be given a task and I have to do it. I have to really focus on it. That's hard for me. It might sound a petty thing.
Mm.
So right now after this, I've got to send out this partner agreement, make sure that all the spelling of the guy's name is correct. Simple things like that. Never spell anyone's name incorrect. Take your time and do it. Don't rush.
Mm.
Whereas, that might sound a minor thing for someone normal, but I really struggle on not having more than one thing to do.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that.
Um,
When there's
I-
lots of distractions, it's very hard to stay focused on one thing,
but
even if you
one
want
of,
to
one of the things I do find quite interesting because Ketton's this fantastic commercial modeling and finance and aggregation is if we're doing a large scale volume deal, I would think one thing. I'd have a word with Keton and he would come up with an amazing sort of alternatives. And I'm thinking, oh, why can't I think like that? But maybe that's the combination of our
Mm.
skill sets. He's good at the commercial modeling. I'm good at the articulation and the sales and the marketing and so on. So
But are there? Let me just come back to this role of the CEO for a moment. Is there anything in particular that you would say we really stand for? that comes from you that is critical to the way you think about what you do and how you feel about what you do?
Transparency. That's
Because
it.
just tell us about that.
Well, one of the main things about BreachAware is that all the data we find is publicly available data. I want to make sure that every customer knows that every piece of data we find, there's about a petabyte out there now, um, is that we can demonstrate that we found it, it's ethical, we haven't paid for it. And also one of the big things, the second big thing that we're very keen on is that the old expression, if you put crap in, you get crap out,
Yeah,
is the quality of the data is second to none, full stop. If you don't put good quality data in, it's going to ruin our service.
yeah,
So it's transparency. Saying to everyone that we found this data, it's publicly available. This is where we found it from, if anyone wants to know. And then the other bit is good quality data.
yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that, and I can absolutely see why in your position that's really, really important. Well, for most businesses, it's pretty important actually.
Well, the next growth though is we're developing our service to be more contextual. So, so there's more of a story behind it. Um,
Well, I wanted to pick up that point. I mean, one of the things that I'm interested in is that as businesses go global, they get clients in multiple jurisdictions, multiple countries. Now, doing business in Singapore is very different from doing business in, I don't know, Germany or whatever. I mean, how do you handle those kind of nuances to come back to your point about contextual data and how people feel about those things? I mean, what's
But
your
we're
take on those?
we're quite lucky in our business because you've got the legal frameworks of GDPR. They're very similar to CCPA, Singapore. I'm just talking to a legal company in Singapore, and everyone refers to GDPR as much as my American customers always moan about it. But it's easy that that's the benchmark because we're a standalone platform. It makes the conversation easier as long as I highlight to everything we won't do anything without consent. It is quite an easy conversation, actually. And
Yeah,
from a monetary perspective, that's fine, because you've got the tools out there to convert into sterling, into euros and so on. So it's no issue at all. There's a global issue about privacy. Some countries are more lax on privacy, some aren't. It's that's the easy thing.
yeah. And I mean, do you take a particular? Do you have, and presumably, you have a particular view about privacy that goes with the business that is not about the jurisdiction. Presumably, I mean, is that the case?
You say privacy, I say privacy, but there you are.
Well,
Um, um, yeah, that's again, it's there is no privacy. If you think about it, privacy's dead, isn't it? So it's all a case of managing your existing privacy
right.
or mitigating your existing privacy. So as much as I a big supporter of our data, I'm flawed, everyone else is flawed, because it goes through all the browsers, etc. I'll give you an example. We just came back from Sweden, the most digitized country in the world.
Hmm.
Fantastic place. I took cash. Oh, what a waste of time. I think one of the tillers told me that only old people use cash, so that was nice of
Well,
them.
we are old.
Yeah.
Fairness.
So, but it did make me twitch because everything, fantastic transport system. They would be able to tell me what island I'm on, where I'm at, what restaurant I've just used, what museum I've gone to. It's just that, but it's all about managing it. So if you went on the flight today to Australia, Qantas just reported a breach, didn't they? So there's quite, I think, was it a couple of million bits
Right.
of data compromised? I mean, that's worrying. I
Yeah.
think what's even more worrying about privacy is your health data. So people tend to dismiss it. Oh, it's only my geolocation, or it's only my home address, or that doesn't matter. For me, because we're in the business, you just have to be looking over your shoulder all the time. If your health data is compromised, that's even more worrying because it's permanent.
Hmm.
So, and if you look at Sweden, where as soon as they're born, they get a social security number. They're tracked from cradle to grave. We kind of are as well. But yeah, privacy is all about managing privacy and risk.
Mm.
Privacy's dead
Mm.
because we've lost our privacy.
Yeah.
That's my view.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that, and I can see why in your position that's a concern, an issue of concern. I mean, absolutely, I get that. To come back to the working in multiple jurisdictions, I mean, would you say your business has evolved as you've gone into different parts of the world?
Yeah, so and interestingly enough, we had customers splattered all over the globe in ones and twos. Um, and UK MSP arms grown, so has the USA arm grown. We haven't been as big as Europe as we thought we would be, but that mainly is just to marketing
Mm.
and investing in getting our name out there. So we took a decision that our growth would be based on organic growth and word of mouth, use social media, use SEO, use all the tools we can, and then as soon as we start generating even more revenue, we have any more clients, we'll spend even more. And at the same time, we took a decision to develop the program. So we didn't want to deliver something that is like smoke and mirrors. Develop the program, keep the pricing the same. As more context is coming in the reports, still keep the same pricing. You get more value add as you go along, and then build up the story, which we are doing.
Right.
But let's stick to our remit. Let's not digress into another value add product. Let our customers sell the value add. You won't make yourself a millionaire selling breachwear because it's only £25 a month or £1 a month.
Mm.
But what it will do for the our client base, our MSP client base, sell their value add, and their value add is from a monetary perspective is a lot higher than ours. So they'll generate far more revenue. We're in the volume game
Yeah, I get that.
and the privacy game.
I mean, you mentioned the kind of ethical stuff around privacy. I mean, what about the kind of ethics around environmental issues? I mean, AI data sucks up a lot of electricity, a lot of power. I mean, what are
Oh,
your?
did you watch that BBC program on that?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Wow, wow. Yeah, so it's actually on the radio. Yeah. That's bear in mind my daughter's doing a PhD in carbon subsoil and my wife's a horticulturalist and I'm every time you go on AI, it's like to cool it down, you need a pint of water or something. It's that's going to be an issue in the future.
Issue already, I think.
Well, yeah. I know they're doing data centers out in Spain, aren't they, over solar panels, and people don't realize it. Even saying thank you to ChatGPT costs water. So, difficult question. I can't really answer that question because you must really call me a hypocrite.
I would never call you a hypocrite, but
Just being honest, you know,
no,
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's a very
But
difficult thing. We're in that supply chain, aren't we?
yeah, but the thing is that we all work from home, so we do contribute to a fund um, against global warming from we put so much away a month,
Right.
and it's on our website actually. But I do realize that from a server processing point of view, environment point of view, our costs are higher, but we all work from home.
Yeah. So there's
So
pros and cons, aren't there? And
you
and
don't travel.
see, I mean, just mentioned working from home. I mean, one of the challenges with remote teams is, how you keep them focused, how you keep them agile, how you look after them remotely. I mean, what's your take on, building a high-performing team?
Yeah, so the way we've got everyone doing it, COVID changed everything. We're in contact every day. We're flexible. Our researchers are flexible. We had one of our researchers um, working out of his home, which was a van traveling around Europe. As long as he's one of our digital heroes, and as long as they do the work, we're fine. So there's got to be some flexibility. We're not that stringent on how we operate as long as the work gets done. And the thing is, when you're working from home, if you're that mindset, you can usually do, this might sound crazy, You can usually do more than if you do more than 4 or 5 hours work at home, it's usually 7 hours at work anyway, because you spend half the time at the coffee machine or chatting to people. So
Yeah, yeah. But the point I was trying to get at I mean, there's a trade-off, isn't there? You give people autonomy, but you also expect outcomes,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is fine if it works. What happens if it doesn't? I mean, have you had lots of problems?
Occasionally um, we're waiting on some research and one of the researchers goes AWOL. Yeah, but you just have to be patient. Everyone's got a reason to do. I think one of the main bugbears we have, not bugbears or challenges we have, is about the quality of data. So don't forget, when a breach occurs, the guys, we have a board meeting every Wednesday. We get the researchers together, and it only lasts about half an hour. And we analyze the data more than anything. I do the sales aspect. But it's when the guys send through data and they pass the data, have structured it and done everything, and someone hasn't deduped it, or someone hasn't done checked that there's some spurious characters in it. So when it does get loaded up, it's wasted our time. So that's the focus. So right at the beginning, we did a lot of talking about the data, make less haste,
More speed.
more speed.
Yeah.
So people always we're surrounded by some really nice people in our company, lovely people, and we're mentoring them, and then they're advising us. So you've got 20-year-olds telling us and advising us.
Yeah. Two-way relationship. Very
Yeah,
good.
but you have to work at it. You have to work at it.
Yeah. No,
Sometimes they don't.
and that's always the case with people, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's never easy. I mean, you're very successful now. Have there been moments in the past when you've thought it might not turn out quite as well as it has done?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You wake up in the morning thinking, "Am I allowed to swear on this podcast?"
I'd rather you didn't, but
Yeah, you're thinking, flipping hell.
yeah,
Why are we doing this?
yeah,
Why are we doing this? In sales, any salesman will know when you're dealing with organizations, just to depend, it's out of your hands. So I go back to my old days at BT when you had the old account management plans and spreadsheets and I reg rag and everything. And being a small company is everything's about you. It's as I said to you previously, it's like being a narcissist. Everything revolves around you. So when you're waiting for clients to make a decision, and we're talking about big ones, you need to thinking it won't make it tomorrow. It could take 2 months. So you need to sit back and just look at something else, a new client or a new opportunity. That's hard to do.
yeah.
And one of the challenges we have is on forecasting. So, when you were looking at growing the revenue and the profile and stuff like that, it's a nightmare forecasting because you have to wait on the customers to make a
Yeah.
decision. So it's a continual pipeline and it's a continual, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Chains of reactions of to get things going. But you just need to remain calm. Got a
And,
got a great friend I've known since four. He's quite a senior policeman, and Ketten's met him, and we met him in London for a few beers last year, and he came up with a great expression. He said, "It's like going on an operation, or not police operation," and we picked up on his face, "Hold your nerve." That's it. Hold your nerve.
yeah.
So we say
Easier
that to
said
each
than
other.
done. Easier said than done, though, isn't it? Because it can be hard.
It's harder for me because I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
and when you look back on the journey, are there any particular really big things that you've learned from the experience?
believe in yourself. That's it. If when the orders weren't coming in and things weren't moving as fast as they were, and you want it to happen tomorrow, just believe in yourself. It will happen.
You hold your nerve, isn't it? So,
Yeah, hold your nerve. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's the big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, and it requires confidence. It requires confidence to be able to do that, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Very easy to be panicked by things, I think.
But fortunately, I had the background previously on. being confident, standing up in front of people. It's no good standing up in front of someone saying something you don't believe in.
Yeah.
You're lost, haven't you? So I know I come from, my mum would say I always talk bullshit. And I would say to mum, "Oh, but mum, I've got substance behind it. It's got to have the substance behind your conversations
Yeah.
and a story.
Yeah. And when you think about what you've achieved, I mean, what is it you're most proud of?
I tell you what, I've been most proud of is our next steps. Our next steps. I've seen what the new reports coming in, which will hopefully blow the market away. What we're proud of is that we've got a free app anyone can use to scan a domain. This is a crazy stat. This is the when people say, "What do you do?" Well, we look for dark credentials in the dark web, and you can publicly scan your domain or your supply chain's domain. That service is used in 142 countries, and I bet you couldn't name 142 countries.
I don't think I could, no.
No, I got up to 85.
Yeah. I
So
certainly haven't visited 842 countries, that's for certain.
no, but that's a great stat. You say that from a company that's spread all across UK. We've got an office in LA, supported by the guys at Kerala. That's the guys down in Enfield, London, Wistonstone village, another village down in Herefordshire. 142 countries. That's crazy.
Right. That's really well done. I mean, it's impressive stuff. And is there anything that you, when you go back to the beginning, is there anything that you know now that you wish you'd known at the beginning?
Oh, didn't say that on this call. The when we bought out the other two shareholders and discovered the holes, I'd wish we'd known the holes beforehand.
Right. When you say holes, what do you mean? Gaps in the process?
Gaps in the process, in the security, in the whole thing. We went back and reviewed the whole operation.
Right.
So that took longer than anticipated. But that's what we focused on. It was if we're talking about data and privacy and security, you've got to practice what you preach. And we're continually doing that. But that took a long time.
Mm.
But that was one of the reasons why we took it over and took it off their hands in order to really change this model and make it a success.
Mm. And if you were to offer some advice to somebody starting out now, I mean, what would you say to them?
Oh, you can have a great idea. Yeah, I mean, but you've got to have a great team and you've got to have a proper proposition.
Mm.
There's lots of people out there with great ideas, but how do you take it to market? Is there a need?
Mm.
So, great ideas are good, but you've just got to get your whole proposition around it, your marketing proposition. Is there a market for it? Is there the old going back to the old account management or sales planning? Is this right for the market? Will it succeed? Um, and then if you got all those factors behind it and you're still passionate about it, and whether you're self-employed anyway, are you willing to take the risk on?
Mm.
There's a lot of people who won't take the risk on. I think what's really interesting when you say that question, I was listening to Jimmy Carr, whether you like him or not, and he was being interviewed, and he said in his interview, he's a very clever guy. He said there's a lot of people jealous of Jimmy Carr right now, successful comedian, bit outrageous, funny, but they wouldn't be jealous of how he got there.
Yeah.
And that's a sort of life thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think a lot of entrepreneurs would say that,
Yeah.
they become an overnight success after 30 years of slugging away at
Yeah.
it, whatever. You hear that a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
But saying that, I'm saying that I I'm happier now than I was in my corporate life. I'm earning less money than I've ever learned, but I'm happier. We're driving our business forward. We can see where we're going. We got the vision. Everyone's in it together and happy, and
Yeah.
it's
Is that
exciting.
the thing that is that the thing that motivates you? Is that the thing that makes you
Yeah,
happy?
yeah, yeah. And if you don't do something interesting, you're not going to make money out of it.
Mm. Yeah, money. I mean, in that sense, you're saying money's a byproduct. If you focus on doing
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
things,
yeah.
then money will come along. I think that's a lot of truth to that.
Mm.
And let me ask you a couple of final questions, really. One about you and the business, and one about the industry that you're in. But let me ask you about your business to start with. So, what's the next big exciting thing that you've got on your roadmap for you?
So we're doing our, I've just seen the new reports come in, which makes everything more contextual. And they'll be coming definitely in July.
Are these
And
the reports that you supply to clients?
yeah, so at the moment we give a lot of context, but it takes it to the next level. So talking about compromised credentials, people will look at it and say, well, so what? So, but there's more of a story behind it, more of a risk analysis, impact analysis. So that's literally from the breaches that arrive to your individual impacts and so on. We're also looking at asset management. So that means looking at that if someone gets compromised, we're working with an asset management company. They will say that, oh, Paul from big companies being compromised, and he owns this device. He owns a Pixel phone. He owns a Dell computer or a Lenovo computer or he's got a Tesla car. So those three devices are potentially at risk.
Yeah.
So it's signing compromised credentials with assets. And then I've been talking about this for the last year and a half, too, but it's on our roadmap. The other one is the single service, where we can offer the similar service to an individual on a free-to-use email address like Gmail or Yahoo or whatever. So Paul can phone up, sign up, and he'll get his past history on all the breaches, or a risk mitigation plan as well that falls into it for £1 a year.
Wow.
So again, so that's exciting. So
I mean,
hopefully
and
that's
it will
going to
take
be.
you to mass scale if it works.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you consider one of my favorite things that we've done is that we've got a number of MSPs who deal with education in the UK and the US. And if you think most 52% of the schools in the UK have a cybersecurity strategy, which is more than businesses, but they have no budget.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that our tool is being used as a first alert tool. Um, and and if you think there's how many students in the US,
A
there's a
lot.
shed load.
Yeah. A
You know,
shed.
£1 a year, it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And I can see why that's going to be a really interesting development for you. One final question, which is not about your business, but about your industry. I mean, AI is really accelerating change at the moment. I mean, there's, in lots of areas, not just around cybersecurity. But what's your big prediction about the way the industry that you're in is going to evolve? Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think that there's going to be restrictions on AI. Um, the legal frameworks will catch up with it. I'm not answering the question on that point. AI as a hacker is going to be fantastic. So if you think we calculated, I think it was 85,000 terabytes of stolen data sitting out there on the dark web or surface web, publicly available. So we think it's a petabyte now. So if you imagine the hackers using AI on a petabyte worth of data, so they can do more manipulation, spear attacks, and collate even more credentials. So you might get breached with two credentials in one area, then you might get found in a customer relationship management breach, which has got about seven, eight, nine details. So you'll have the hackers will be able to focus more and pinpoint more and do more sophisticated, clever attacks with the right logos, everything. That's the big fear. And they'll be well ahead of the defenders who are using the word AI on protecting the organizations. So I predict there'll be more attacks. Another thing to go with AI, though, with ransomware being more prevalent, even more so than last year, that's going to be an issue because with companies not paying ransomware, that ransomware data is going to get dumped on the dark web. So you've got even more gigabyte, terabyte data sitting on the dark web. Hackers add that to their AI modules. I mean, that's just massive. So it all adds to the data lake. And then you've got the stealer logs, the info stealers. So I see more of a negative effect than a positive effect.
Which is
Uh,
quite pretty, really, when you describe it in that way.
yeah. Do you want me to on a positive effect? Do we use AI? Everyone's been using AI for years. It's called machine learning.
Mm,
But you raised a really good question. At some stage, the hackers have got to be more successful because they've got to be playing for their server power in order to do all these attacks.
mm. They may well up their game, is what you're saying,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
which is a pretty unpleasant prospect, really. So, anyway, Andrew, thank you for taking a bit of time out to come and talk about what's happening from your
Pleasure.
vantage point. I mean, really interesting world, cybersecurity, and really interesting proposition that you've developed, and an interesting journey that you've been on. Actually, I mean, I always find these things fascinating. So, thank you for taking a bit of time out to share that, and it will be really interesting to hear about your predictions that you've just spoken about and see whether how those things play out over the next
It
years.
will happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
going to happen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Andrew,
thanks
thank
a
you for
lot.
coming on.
Sorry.
So thank you for coming on. I really
Oh,
appreciate it.
yeah, no. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Good to see you again.
Yeah, cheers. See you soon, Andrew. Bye bye.
Great time. Bye.